Thank you, Erica. Chair calls Kelton Hicks. Look at that, right there, Kelton. You're in the right spot all night. Welcome.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. My name is Kelton Hicks, and I'm from Stephenville, Texas, the Erath Excels Academy. Before I went to Excels, I was failing most of my classes, and I think I'm a little too close to the mic.
All right, fine.
Yeah. Anyways, past that. I just wasn't motivated to do anything. Just sit at home, do whatever. And then I pretty much got told that I should probably leave high school because of my grades. So I went to Excels, and now I'm ready to go to college. I actually have an aspiration to go to college. And if you guys Excels are shut down, I pretty much not go to school. That's it, probably.
Well, I think that says it all, Kelton. Thank you. All right. Chair calls Deborah Miller of Erath Excels. All right, with a chart.
Chairman and members, thank you all for letting us testify, and I am personally testifying against Senate Bill 4. I know you're surprised. My name's Deborah Miller, and if you remember, I was proudly announced on the House floor by my husband, Sid Miller, last week when over 700 kids in bright yellow shirts were up in the gallery, and they represent charter choice students that also represent charters, at-risk charters all over the state of Texas, and there's quite a few of us. We're powerful in numbers. I am a former elementary ed teacher, so I have made a poster. Visual, there's nothing like a good visual. So, Stephenville ISD has quite a few at-risk kids. There's about 43%. And we draw about 10% of their population. There's about 1,000 kids in the high school there. We're just a high school, grade 9 through 12. We have their kids. Our kids are coming pretty much from Stephenville. We'll draw from 13 other districts that are as far as 45 miles away. But kids come because it's not working for them where they are. But anyway, so I'm just showing you that out of these kids, the 43%, we're getting 83% at risk, makes up 83% of our population. There are charter schools that have 100% at-risk kids. We have 83%. We depend on these kids right here to bring up our scores a lot of times because these kids are so far behind. Okay, they get all these kids to help them bring up their scores, right? And we have these. And these kids, a lot of them have jobs. Even my brightest kids have jobs, or they have babies. So a lot of times they stayed up late at night, and it's hard to depend on them to bring up my scores. But anyway, our scores. Anyway, okay. And then here, we would like to define a good charter. But we do appreciate, I'm like Chuck, I really appreciate the charters like KIPP academies that are doing what they're doing with their kids. I think that's awesome. I would like to point out, though, minority and low income is not at risk. At-risk students have failed grade levels, they have failed tax tests, they're on probation or in probation system, or they have babies, they're teen parents. So at-risk kids are not necessarily poor kids or minority kids. That's not the same thing. But I applaud them for what they're doing. I just want you to understand we're doing different things with different kids. Or we're trying to do the same thing with different types of kids. But these kids do have to work, or they have kids of their own, so they need babysitters. So it is hard for them to go that many hours a day from 7 to 5 or whatever they're doing, and on Saturdays. So just to keep that in mind, if we could define a bad charter, that would be nice, because we're not opposed to accountability or shutting down bad charters. We just want you to realize that if you're comparing us here, that's not apples to apples. Everybody can see that, can't you? So I love the visual. Anyway, I do appreciate you all listening to us. Thank you so much. I'll let you get on to someone else.
Thank you. That's right. You need to share that visual.
I just like.
And some of these charter schools even have less than that amount, so just something to think about.
I'd like to just take this opportunity to, again, thank you for the wonderful work that you're doing. And I can see the challenges that you have, and you're obviously doing a really good job. And thanks for coming in, all your students and everybody else for being so patient and waiting.
You're the ones being very patient. We appreciate it. Because they all have stories that are dear to the heart, and they want to share with you. And I appreciate y'all being here to listen to them.
Maybe you can compile them for us in a book. And
we will. That's a great idea. Thanks.
So you think you want to be measured instead of where they are tested, but how you've improved?
Value added, yes, or some kind of improvement. Because, and I have a teacher that will testify in a few minutes about how hard she works to get her kids up and makes great strides, but it still hasn't got to, when the text comes around, it's not where it needs to be. So our scores aren't reflecting the hard work and the success that's happening.
Okay.
Thanks.